This podcast is a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to find out more. Welcome to 20th Century Boy. This is my favourite part of the intro. My name is Radio Mike. And this is the inside of my mind. Oh my god, you got another Yahtzee. Okay, so that's going to make no sense to anyone. But I just remembered this story from year 9. And I thought, what better way to start the podcast this week than by telling a story from year 9? So that's something to look forward to. Of course, first I'll do the proper intro. I am Radio Mike, a 20-something-year-old writer, producer, and comedy person from here in Melbourne, Australia, trying to make his way through the rough and tumble of living life, which is sometimes easier than other times, sometimes harder than other times. And I just have to tell this story because I keep saying it. Around the house, me and my housemate Emily, we work from home, and I always I always just say to Emily, "Oh my god, you got a second Yahtzee." And it's like no one except me and people that were in this situation in year 9 would get it. And so I just have to tell this story. I'm sorry, this is probably not how I didn't even intend on telling the story, but I just walked out into the kitchen area and I saw Emily and I was like, oh my god, you got a second Yahtzee, and she doesn't get it. And I was like, I'm going to tell this on my podcast. Anyway, basically, it's not even a funny story, and I don't know why this stuck with me. When I was in year 9 in 2009, we went on a camp for my school. It was like year 9 camp. It was like a 2-week camp to the Daintree Rainforest, which is a rainforest in Queensland, and the Great Barrier Reef, which is beautiful. Apparently it won't exist soon. So go and snorkel in the Great Barrier Reef when you can. It was really beautiful. Great memories. And we were staying at some not like a youth, not a hostel, but almost like a resort, but like a 3-star sort of resort in the Daintree Rainforest, like literally in the rainforest. And so it was like this group of 30 schoolboys, and then and all the rest of the people living there or staying there were tourists. So there was a group of American tourists, a family of 4, so mum, dad, son, and daughter, nuclear family. And while we were chilling in the common area one night, playing Monopoly, listening to music, whatever we were doing, the American family was playing Yahtzee, which I don't even think is really a game in Australia. I don't even know how to play Yahtzee or what it is. If you played Yahtzee as a kid, let me know. And again, sorry, this is so irrelevant, but basically all I remember, and I've never forgotten it clearly because it's been literally over 10 years and I still remember this, was the American kid who must have been 15. The sister rolled the dice or whatever you do, and then the American kid just went, oh my god, you got a second Yahtzee. And everyone on the camp heard it, and for the rest of the camp everyone was just going, oh my god, you got a second Yahtzee. I'm sorry guys. This happened 12 years ago. No, 11 years ago. No, 12. This happened 12 years ago, and I still I'll never forget it. It was such an insignificant moment in the grand scheme of what the universe is. This is probably one of the least significant moments of human interaction that I happened to overhear. Some people will never forget Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. Some people will never forget Barack Obama's Yes We Can speech, right? Some people will never forget Julia Gillard's misogyny speech in Parliament. But for me, the one conversation that I will never forget is a 16-year-old American kid saying to his sister, oh my God, you got a second Yahtzee. Now, here's a huge, huge call out, right? Let's do this. If you are an American kid who was like 14 to 16 years old in 2009 and was staying in the Daintree rainforest, I think it was called the Crocodilus Resort or something, in 2009, around about June, let me know. It could have been you. And you don't know this, but you are an enormous part of my life. Oh my God, you got a second Yahtzee. All right, we actually should do the proper show. I didn't have that on the run sheet. I just had to tell it, and I'm sorry. First things first, do your 360. We are the country's only and the world's only winnable podcast. Do a 360 on the spot. If you happen to see me, you win the podcast. This person who didn't leave their name called the phone number of the podcast, the hotline, 1-800-438-353, left a voice message. They were doing their 360.
Just did my 360, and you weren't in the M4 tunnel in Sydney. So that was pretty average. Hey, I love you too.
Interesting, because if he was in a tunnel, I assume he was in a car. So it's like, did he do a 360 in the car? Like he turned the car around 360 degrees? Very dangerous, but thank you for doing your 360. We always appreciate it. And of course, I do need to plug the Patreon, patreon.com/Radio Mike. Thank you to everyone who has signed up for the $1 or more tier. New thing, a lot of people really miss the Mikes who used to be on this podcast in season 1, intern Mike, editor Mike, and Siggy Mike. Now basically there's going to be 2 Patreon bonus podcasts. 1 week on will be the Pat and Mike show with myself and Pat, and then 1 week on will be the Mike's podcast, in which Pat, the producer of this podcast, an all-round legend, talks to Siggy Mike, intern Mike, and editor Mike and sees what they've been up to. We did one this week. It was really fun. $1 or more, you get access to all of this bonus content. I would love for you guys to jump on there. Lots of really funny stuff. Really good way to get to know Pat as well, and just more behind the scenes stuff about the show if you're interested. Every dollar just goes to helping make the show better. The show like barely breaks even. I don't know. We don't even break even on this show. Currently the show runs at a loss. So any money, if you can give $12 a year, which is $1 a month, that genuinely does really help. Because basically it costs, just to host this podcast alone online, costs me $15 a month. So basically if 12 people, no, if 15 people give $1 a month, then you've all paid for the podcast to be up every month. That's just this podcast, of course. Then hosting all my other stuff also costs money. Plus, the YouTube channel has gotten demonetized because of a stupid YouTube technicality, which I am trying to resolve, but it's seemingly impossible to resolve at the moment. But anyway, patreon.com/Radio Mike or paypal.me/It's Radio Mike if you just want to give a one-off donation. Special shout out to Radio Tim DeBella, I believe your name is, and we'll come to you later in the show, gave an $85 donation to the PayPal this week. Really appreciate it. Means a whole lot. Thank you so much. Of course, we do start every week with our trivia question of the week. This week, we started instead with the, oh my God, you got a second Yahtzee story. But last week's trivia question was an interesting one. The question was, we've all been scanning a lot of QR codes recently. But what does QR stand for? A few answers came in. And remember, even if you're incorrect, send in a voicemail anyway to 1-800-438-353 because the closest person correct wins. Now, we got 3 different responses this week. The first one from Radio Scooter always has a shot at the question, even if he doesn't know it. Obviously, you can't Google it. Scooter?
Hey, Radio Mike. Just calling in regarding the QR code. I don't know what it is, but I think it might be something like quick reference. I'm going to guess it's way more technical than that, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, oh, what's that? I don't have time to explain. I know. I'll scan the quick reference code. That's not it, is it? Anyway, I love you.
Of course, that is a close answer. I would say that's 50% correct, but it is not quick reference. But if no one else called in, I would have given it to Scooter for being the closest. However, we then got one from Radio Johnny.
Hey, Radio Mike, it's Radio Jono.
Jono.
Just on my way to uni.
Sorry, Jono.
Listening to the podcast. Just with the answer for this week's trivia question, well, what I believe to be the answer. Half confident in this one, but I think it's quick reader. All right, get fucked. Have a good day.
Probably a little bit closer than Scooter, but still not correct. But if the third person didn't call in, I would have given it to him. But of course, we then got one from Radio Nathan Little, who did get the correct answer. Nathan?
Hey, Radio Mike, it's Radio Nathan L here. I believe QR stands for quick response. Could be wrong. Get fucked.
He is correct. It is quick response code. So that is what you're all scanning, a quick response code every time you go to the supermarket and etc. Quick response, remember that. Tell all your friends so everyone knows, because no one seems to know. This week's trivia question, a little bit easier, veering back into the pop culture sphere. I reckon a lot of listeners of this show will know this one. The question is, get ready for it, guys, and call in 1-800-438-353. Even if you don't know, just take a guess. It could be Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. You never know. Here's the question. Cell, Frieza, and Piccolo are all notable villains in which television series? I'll say it again. Cell, Frieza, and Piccolo are all notable villains in which television series? Good luck. Call in. Just wanted to read out a couple messages. One from Radio Joshua C. Welcome to the RF, Josh. He says, hey, I just finished season 2 and what a great year of episodes they were. Thank you. Resonated with a lot of it. Going to savor the rest of season 3 and keep up to date with the new eps. Awesome. Thank you. And then he says, thanks for 20th Century Boy. Thank you, Joshua C. Good to have you as part of the RF. And just one quick correction from Radio Lazar. I talked a few weeks ago, I think, about the Rolling Stone top 500 songs of all time, and I said that I didn't see Eminem anywhere, and I would have thought that at least Lose Yourself or Stan or Without Me would have made the top 500. It turns out I was wrong, as Lazar pointed out. Been listening through the Rolling Stone top 500 of all time, and just want to say Eminem actually did place in the top 500. Lose Yourself came in at 167 and Stan was 223. So I stand corrected. Thank you for clearing that up. Last week, I announced that 2022 was going to be Mike's big year of footy, and I put out a clip from the show on social media I was talking about whether or not I stick with Essendon, a team I inherited at birth but never felt too passionate about, and I thought that hindered me from getting into the game of AFL. I have since... I also talked about how the Western Bulldogs and Richmond were two teams I was interested in maybe supporting. Lots of response from a lot of people on this, but I'll only read. The opinions seem to be very mixed on this. Lunatoon says, I'm biased because I'm a Richmond fan, but I think you can switch teams as the one you're with isn't the one that you freely chose as a child. It was more heavily influenced by parental input. However, once you choose your new team, that's it. You can't keep switching from there on in. It's all about building trust, hope, and loyalty for your team, not switching to whoever is the winner this year. Admittedly, both Richmond and the Bulldogs have had a really successful decade. If you're not from Australia, you'll know that. Isaac Quinlan, on the other hand, says, I'm here regarding your AFL team situation. It is not okay to switch teams. He seems very angry about it. You aren't viewed as a true fan. You should stick with Essendon. They have the greatest history of any club, and the current team is amazing to watch, filled with so many young and exciting players. Basically, lots of people saying essentially that it's not loyal or fair to swap teams, that you need to be loyal to the team you have supported, and spoke to a few Essendon supporters during the week, including like Jack Post, all of whom saying Essendon are on the rise. It's been a rocky few decades. There was like a supplement scandal. Essendon was like one of the most hated teams in the league for a while. And I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do. One person who I wanted to chat to on the pod who was really scathing about this idea of changing teams is friend of the show, Radio Dave Lee Down Under. notorious and well known for his cartoon evolution series over on YouTube. And I didn't actually know, and I'm scrolling through my phone right now for video viewers of the pod because I'm about to give him a call, and I realize I don't have his number saved in my phone, but I know he sent it to me via Instagram chat at some point in the past. So I'm just scrolling up through our chat. I didn't realize that he was really a sports kind of guy, but he responded to this really angrily. Like, he was really annoyed that I was even considering the idea of changing teams. All right, it's ringing.
Hello, Dave Lee from Dave Lee Down Under.
Here he is, Dave. Welcome to 20th Century Boy. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much, Mike. Happy to be here.
I should say you knew I was calling you. That's not how you answer regular phone calls. Wait, is that how you answer regular phone calls?
Oh, depending how I'm feeling.
Yeah, okay.
At the time.
So are you feeling good? Is that what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. That's how I answer the phone to you, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, I appreciate it. All right. Well, this is probably going to be the first ever conversation we've had that isn't based around some kind of pop culture artifact or media piece. You've responded really strongly in the comments section of a video I did about changing AFL teams. Tell me about this. Is it not okay?
It's not okay, Mike.
It's not. Okay.
No. It is a rite of passage to have a football team thrust onto you at birth.
Yeah.
And this is not something you can change. This is something you have to live with for the rest of your life.
And so
now I take this on.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go on.
I was going to say, which team do you support in the AFL?
Well, I was about to say, it's a very serious matter for me, Mike, because I am an Essendon supporter.
Oh, you are an Essendon supporter as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The plot thickens because it's actually, what I'm realizing is, like, you're an Essendon supporter, we're friends, my housemate's an Essendon supporter, one of my other friends, Jack Post, is an Essendon supporter. Lots of Essendon supporters. Do you ever go to the footy?
Yes, I'm a 20-year member.
Oh, so you're like really into footy?
Yeah. I go. I'm there at all the home games.
Okay.
So 20 years. Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to my podcast, but I announced last week that 2022 is going to be Mike's big year of footy.
Yes.
If I stay with Essendon, which I feel like I'm being talked into doing by lots of people, do you reckon we can go footy together?
Oh, absolutely. For sure.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's
for
awesome.
Sure.
Okay.
Get it going.
All right.
For sure.
Now
I have.
Yeah.
No, keep going.
I was just going to say now, like, I guess I've got to leave it open if there's any, because the other two teams, well, actually, I might ask you, the other two teams I'm thinking of defecting to are the Tigers or the Bulldogs. What do you think of that?
Mate, the Tigers, no chance.
Why is that?
That is because they're one of our rivals, man, and I won't stand for that.
Isn't every team one of our rivals by default?
Well, yeah, Carlton, Collingwood, Hawthorn, all the Melbourne teams, really.
Okay.
But look, here's the thing, Mike.
Yeah.
We haven't won a grand final for 21 years.
Yeah.
Right. And I've done the hard yards as a member. I've been to all these games for these last 20 years and sat through this team being absolute shit half the time, let's be honest. And gone through the drug saga, everything, been through hell as an Essendon supporter.
Yeah.
And it's finally looking good. We're finally seeing the rainbow at the other end. This is the worst time for you to jump out.
Right. Okay. So it's like if you were investing in like Bitcoin and you got out at like when it hit 40,000 and then a few months later it was at 80,000. Like you thought you were doing the right thing, but if you had just stuck with it, you would have gotten the payout. Is that kind of what you're saying?
That is exactly it. That's exactly it. This is it. Like, I'm not going to be that. I'm never that supportive. It's like, oh yeah, this is our year.
Yeah.
But we've put together a really good team. It's a very strong young team. We have very few senior players anymore, and all the players that are coming through now are very good.
And
Very
so-
good. We've got a very good team put together, and our time is coming, Mike. I'm telling you right now.
Well, this has been really helpful. I appreciate you coming on the show. I think I need to speak to more Essendon supporters, but this has been a big hype up. Any Essendon supporters of the in the listeners, definitely reach out. Dave, thank you very much for joining me and giving me this pep talk. I appreciate it.
An absolute pleasure. And don't defect, Mike, or I will be out for you.
Go the Bombers.
Go the Bombers.
For now.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
See you, mate. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right. I think I will have to get a couple more Essendon supporters on to help talk me into staying with Essendon. But I do like that stock market analogy that Dave kind of gave. That's a good little analogy there. Okay. Couple more things before I get on to the title of this episode. I want to do a segment that we have not done on this show for since I can't remember when we did this segment last. A very long time ago. Long-time listeners will remember this segment, and there's been lots of segments on the show over the years. Some that are mainstays, some that have fallen by the wayside. If there is a segment from the past that you would like to see revived, just ask me, and I'll do it. I won't even vet if it's a good idea. I will just do it. Just suggest, hey, Mike, you should do bird stories again, and then I'll do bird stories. But this is not bird stories. This segment is called This.
This is the shittest thing I've seen all week, featuring me, Radio Mike, the guy from the podcast. Also, fuck you.
Okay, it is called the shittest thing I've seen all week. And
Thanks, Radio Mike.
Sorry, there's still an intern mic thing attached to the end of that opener from 3 years ago that just played and I didn't realize. Anyway, what I like about that opener is it's not in the background of the song that it's parodying, The Sweetest Thing by U2. It's in the background, it's oh, the sweetest thing. But I think if you listen closely, me from 2 years ago has actually dubbed over that, and it's going, oh, the shittest thing. I think I didn't hear it that closely, but anyway, the shittest thing I've seen this week. Basically, I saw this article online, and I wanted to talk about it, but I also didn't I felt like it fit under this segment and nothing else. Essentially, this is just a crazy story that I'm gonna just read out the headline of. Coles, which is a supermarket chain in Australia, one of the big two supermarket chains, Coles responds after vegan accuses supermarket of tricking her into eating chicken. Now, first of all, I want to disclaim that I don't veganism, great. If it works for you, awesome. Be a vegan. That's fantastic. But you don't have to force your veganism on anyone else. If you're a vegan, that's awesome for you. Big thumbs up from all of us here at Radio Mike Productions. But not everyone has the same views as you, and that's okay. Now, the crux of this article is it's ridiculous. And here's an alternative headline, just so you can see it as well. This one's from the Daily Mail, which obviously sucks. Vegan shopper hits out at Coles, claiming the supermarket is tricking her into eating chicken, and she also labels it as disgusting. She's disgusted by Coles. Now, what's happened is this woman has gone to the supermarket. She's a vegan, and she's gone to a section of the freezer section of Coles that includes some vegan products. She has grabbed a random box from that shelf, put it in her trolley, and bought it, and taken it home and made it, cooked it up, and realized she had purchased chicken. She says that Coles are trying to trick her into buying chicken because the chicken was in a similar place or in the same door as other vegan products. Now, I guess you're probably thinking, but Mike, why is that the shittest thing you've seen all week? I think it's really stupid that this person thinks that Coles, she's basically bought something without... this is what I'm just going to get to the point. She's bought something without reading the package. She has literally just gone to a shelf, picked something off, not read the packet, just assumed it's vegan, and then is angry at Coles for her mistake of not reading the label. I'm sorry. If you're a vegan and you have dietary requirements, maybe you should read what you're buying, because not everything is vegan. That's like being allergic to peanuts and buying like a peanut chocolate, right? Peanut or anything with peanuts and being like, oh, Coles tried to kill me. I had an anaphylactic reaction to the peanuts in this product, and Coles stocked it next to other products that didn't have peanuts. Yeah, it's your responsibility if you know you're allergic to something, if you know you're a vegan. It's not a shop's responsibility, like, to make you not buy. Like, this bamboozles me that what's happened here is someone who is really uptight and gets really angry very easily, right, has made a mistake. They've bought meat and accidentally eaten it when they're a vegan, and now they're so angry about this prospect that they're trying to essentially cancel Coles, which is a supermarket chain here in Australia. Let's just take a second to think about how ridiculous this is. She bought something, it's not what she thought it was, and now she's blaming Coles for the fact that she didn't read the packet of the thing she was buying. My mind is blown by how stupid this is. Like, if you buy something from a shop, read the packet. Don't go and cook whatever you've bought knowing that you don't eat meat without checking that it's not. Just, wow. The total diffusing of any responsibility this person has on their own purchase of a product from a shop. Oh, it was in the same area as other vegan foods. That doesn't necessarily mean it's vegan. And Coles has responded, like, Coles has to take this response of, oh, the customer is always right and we're really surprised by this. But then they're also like, but some of our stores have limited space, so we kind of have to sometimes we have to group products together that aren't necessarily linked, right? They're basically saying, yeah, we can't always just have a whole section for vegan foods. Sometimes we just have to put stuff with other stuff because we don't have infinity space. Unfortunately, that's not how the world works. So we just put this product here. And if I was Coles, the entity, I'd be like, hey, customers, read what you're buying. It's your money. It's your money. You need to know what you're buying. Anyway, to this vegan woman who clearly sucks, this is the shittest thing I've seen all week. And thank you for giving me an excuse to revive this segment, because I actually really liked it. Like, maybe actually look. This is Coles. Where possible, we group similar items together, but this is not always possible due to the different shelf space and layouts in our store across our network. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. You made a mistake. Her name is Heidi. Heidi made a mistake, and because Heidi made a mistake, she's yelling at Coles. That's got to be just the most... And accusing them of trying to trigger... Yes, Coles is trying to trick her into buying chicken. Coles is like, oh, put this here so vegans buy it. Because everyone knows vegans are idiots and don't read anything that's on... Like, they don't read anything that's on the package. They'll just buy anything in a section with other vegan food. Nah, sorry, Heidi. You're an idiot. You're the shittest thing I've seen all week. Quick mid-show merch plug as well. radiomike.com.au/merch, another way to support the show. Currently, there's a bunch of stuff up there if you want to buy something. And we're also selling the Grilled Influencer merch, which consists of a mic'd grilled shirt. And of course, the burger tote bag. For video viewers, I'm holding this up on the camera right now. It is a watercolor picture of me hugging a burger on a tote bag. It's actually really nice, really good quality material. And there are only 10 of these left. There are only 10 tote bags left. So yeah, I would love for you to pick one up at radiomike.com.au/merch. These tote bags are really good. So thank you very much. It has also come to my attention, thanks to Pat, producer of this podcast, that Grilled has now taken a shot, I guess you could say, at McDonald's, one of my favorite restaurants in the world, and I'm conflicted. Obviously, I'm the unofficial ambassador for Grilled. I'm an unofficial influencer and ambassador for Grilled. I have to pretend to love grilled stuff, even though we all know it's shit, especially compared to MACCAS. The whole grilled saga started when Grilled attacked KFC a few months ago in an ad form. They've now attacked McDonald's in a new cartoon ad. And what I think is really like employing some really dirty tactics here, Grilled. What they've done is in the ad, it's like two kids in an alleyway. Like, this isn't a joke. And then a really creepy looking Ronald McDonald lookalike comes up to the kids and like opens up his jacket, and there's all these gross toys to imply like Happy Meals and stuff. And essentially, and then basically a grilled burger animation character hero comes in and beats up Ronald McDonald and saves the kids with the power of grilled burgers. Now, what I don't like about this ad, Grilled, and no offense, like I said, I'm your unofficial ambassador. I'm here with you, but I do think that casting Ronald McDonald as some kind of pedophile, which is really the vibes that the ad gives. I'll link the ad into the description of the podcast. It really does kind of make Ronald McDonald look like a pedophile who is trying to groom these kids. And I guess that is a good analogy by Grilled. Like, is McDonald's like grooming kids into bad eating habits? Whereas, hey, if you come to Grilled, the burgers are so much healthier. But let's be real. Like, the calories in grilled burgers are probably higher than like a Happy Meal combined, I would say. I don't know that for a fact, but yeah, really interesting choice for Grilled to defame Mr. McDonald, Ronald himself, in this way. I'd love a statement from Ronald. I'm sure he is interested in taking legal action. I'm sure he is interested in taking legal action against Grilled Incorporated, of which I will not be a part of the lawsuit, but yeah, I'd be interested to see how McDonald's responds to their mascot being cast as a pedophile in an ad. Like, that's a huge attack. Go and watch the ad. It's in the description to the podcast. Huge. Also, grab a Grilled tote bag, radiomike.com.au/merch. Only 10 left. Make sure you get one. The biggest thing of this week for me, not the shittest thing, as we've already done, that was the vegan thing from before. The biggest thing of the week for me that my sleep pattern is still fucked for, because I stayed up till 3 a.m. binge watching this TV series because I couldn't help it, is the fact that there is a new TV show, a new South Korean drama series called Squid Game. And I gotta say, this is up there with one of the best TV series I've ever seen in my life. There is something, like, there's shows like Breaking Bad where, like, the last season of that show is an unbelievable roller coaster. Like, if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, amazing television. Like, absolutely incredible television. And then this show, the Squid Game, which is totally different to Breaking Bad, but I'm just trying to use an example of, like, storytelling, character development, dealing with all these different themes like morality and death and difficult decisions and capitalism and communism and all these different aspects that are being critiqued in this TV series, essentially. And there will be no spoilers in this chat, just so people know. But I am going to do a YouTube video discussion of Squid Game on my YouTube channel, so definitely look out for that. But I just wanted to talk briefly about the show because this is incredible. And it hooks you in so much. Like, I couldn't stop watching, but I also had to take like 10-minute breaks after each episode because no show has ever made me feel as uncomfortable as this show. And I was going to say uncomfortable in a good way, but like uncomfortable because like my entire moral compass is being challenged by events that I couldn't have even imagined could have happened. Like, this show is crazy. And I guess like if a loose concept is, it's kind of like, it's got a bit of like the Hunger Games and a bit of like Battle Royale, the Japanese better version of the Hunger Games that came before the Hunger Games, Lord of the Flies kind of vibes. Essentially, in the shortest possible way, a bunch of people enter into these children's games in which the punishment for losing is not just being eliminated from the game. It's a much bigger punishment for losing. And again, this is a no spoilers chat. And there's a series of really crazy games with crazy twists and turns and really engaging characters and really and people in these games that are forced to make incredibly difficult moral decisions and incredibly difficult just decisions in general. Like people forced to do things that they would never do in real life, all for the hopes of winning a huge amount of money. I think like I translated the money to like 45 million Australian dollars. And just finding out like what's behind these games and like what it's all about. What are the people doing? Who's running it? And like, how do they stop it? What is the point of it all? It's absolutely insane. It actually can be not predictable, but like a lot of the things that were happening, I guessed were going to happen, but it still manages to shock you in many ways. The last episode, I feel like people are mixed on the last episode. I definitely thought it was like the weakest one, and it didn't end amazingly in my opinion. I think it was a bit off. And it also does the classic Netflix series thing of leaving it open on a hook for another season, which sometimes I think, especially with this, it would have been great as just a one season miniseries, but it's sort of like Stranger Things. Like they keep doing new seasons, which are never as good as the first one. Like the first season of Stranger Things was incredible, and every season since then, it's just been a little not as good. But yeah, I will be doing a full breakdown on my whole thoughts, spoilers on Squid Game on YouTube. So go and subscribe to my YouTube. That video will be up soon. So I would appreciate you checking it out when it's up, because I really want to talk about this. And one more thing before we wrap up today that I also wanted to talk about a lot that I hope people will be happy to listen to, because it's important to me. And that's kind of what this podcast is about, stuff that's important to me. On Tuesday night, really Wednesday morning, but at 12 a.m. Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, my favorite game ever, I've decided, comes to an end, in the sense that if you know nothing about it, Smash Bros. Is a crossover fighting game in which many popular video game characters crossover. It's one of the most competitively played esports in the world. It has a huge online following and community, of which I am a huge part of, and I love and adore so much. It's my favorite game. I like to think I'm really good at it. I love playing it. I play it probably an hour a day, just online with people around the world in just fighting and trying to win. And the game came out in 2018, and since 2018, there have been every maybe 3 or 4 months, a new DLC downloadable character is released. And these are huge events in the gaming world. When a character is revealed, they usually do a huge live stream and they introduce the new character with a CGI trailer. And the speculation in the community is really huge. Everyone's talking about who it could be because they're really well protected secrets. They rarely ever leak. And so far, I think there's a total of 12 downloadable fighters, of which on Wednesday, the final one will be revealed. And this is something I follow week to week, all the speculation and rumors and stuff. And what I want to say about this game is, like, if you're into gaming, if you've been into gaming your whole life, I genuinely think that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the ultimate celebration of gaming. Like, there are so many iconic characters that, like, it's a Nintendo property, but they've pulled so many strings to get huge characters that no one ever thought they could get from outside of Nintendo. So not only do you have like Mario, Donkey Kong, Link from The Legend of Zelda, Pikachu, and a bunch of other Pokemon characters, and like, the list goes on of Nintendo characters that are in this game. You've also got like Sonic the Hedgehog, who's a Sega character, Solid Snake from Metal Gear, who was, I guess is from a company called Konami, who never appeared on a Nintendo platform. You've also got Cloud Strife and Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, who, if you're not a gamer, these are two incredibly iconic gaming characters from a huge gaming franchise. As well as, like, for me, Banjo and Kazooie from the Nintendo 64 game Banjo-Kazooie, which was a huge surprise to everyone following this game that they were revealed as a DLC fighter, because they haven't really been anything huge as a main character since like 2007 or 8. And like they were really a forgotten character that got a revival based on fan demand in this game. More recently, you've had like characters like this guy called Kazuya from Tekken, which is a fighting game by Bandai Namco, which is a different type of fighting game that's very popular. And yeah, like I have been sort of part of the speculation for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for these 3 years, trying to figure out who might be in the game. It's always really hard to tell. It's always a huge surprise. I am going to do a video, my final speculation video for Smash Ultimate, probably will be up tomorrow, or later today. Actually, sorry, the day this comes out. It'll probably be up yesterday from the day this comes out, because I'm going to do it after I record this. But the rumors are saying that it's going to be Sora from Kingdom Hearts, which is a huge and popular gaming franchise. Sora is like the main character who has a key-shaped sword called the Keyblade. A few leaks have come out suggesting that it's going to be Sora, which I would be really happy with, but I didn't think that was going to be the case. I really want it to be Crash Bandicoot, because I think you've got Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, Pac-Man. You've also got Mega Man, Banjo and Kazooie. You've got all these iconic cartoon characters from the 90s and 2000s in there. And I really think Crash Bandicoot would be the final kind of iconic video game character that would make the last character so huge. And it's really sad. This is something that's really big in my life, and I'm really sad that it's coming to an end. And I wish they would just keep making characters forever, but they have said that this character will be the last ever character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it's unlikely we'll get another Super Smash Bros. Game for a very long time. So I'm really sad. Like, this big part of my life is coming to an end. I'm really excited for it, but I'm also kind of, hesitant, because I'm upset that something so special to me is coming to an end. I will be watching the presentation live at midnight on Tuesday night. If you're interested in joining me, I might jump into the podcast Discord. I will film a reaction video for it as well. But yeah, really excited, and I hope, even if you're not into games or gaming, you hear the excitement in my voice and are interested in this topic at least somewhat. Finally, before we do the plug, I did reference Radio Tim earlier, Tim DeBella, I believe. I said he donated $85 to the PayPal, which he did. And he did that begrudgingly because it was 85 days till Christmas when he did it. Now, we all know, as I've said multiple times on this podcast, and it is currently 82 days till Christmas, Christmas should not be begun to be celebrated or thought about until at least December 14th. Possibly even December 15th, 10 days before Christmas. My birthday's the 12th of December. I don't want to celebrate Christmas or think about Christmas before my birthday. Now, Radio Tim really wants me to start thinking about Christmas. He really likes Christmas. So does Radio Quack, Christina with a K. She says Radio Tim has the correct view on Christmas. And she sent various photos in the Discord. Message me if you'd like to be part of the Discord, by the way, of her preparing for Christmas 2021. Now, I'm sorry, but I think I made it clear that if you have thought about Christmas today or at any point before December 15th, you have a 1-week ban from the podcast. It's an honesty system. Just, you don't have to report yourself. Just take a week off the podcast. Definitely go back and listen to that episode though, because I don't want the download numbers to drop if lots of people are thinking about Christmas. But basically, if you're not thinking about Christmas, which you shouldn't be, you'll be fine. Guys, let's wrap up the show with this. The plug. Okay, the plug this week. Sorry, I've had a little bit of like a frog in my throat this whole episode. I've been clearing my throat. Just going to have some water, guys. Hang on. All right. Oh, started talking while there was still water in my mouth. It's been great seeing all these new listeners binging the podcast. I really like that. RadioMike.com.au, get your tote bags, only 10 left. They're really good quality. You can fit your shopping in them. That's a really good bag. Go grab one, pick one up. Patreon.com/Radio Mike. Jump in there, get the free podcast, the bonus podcasts, and hear from the mic. Some really funny stuff with the mics this week. As well as that, fuck, it's still there. Sorry, guys. As well as that, or paypal.me/itsradiomike. Maybe send me, $1 every day till Christmas, but then you'd be thinking about Christmas, but still, that'd be worth it for me. That can be my Christmas present. Harry Potter and the Boys still on hold at the moment. YouTube videos going up. There'll be one on Squid Game. There'll be my final Smash Bros. Speculation video coming. And I also will have a Mike's Monthly Movies going up soon for the month of September. Thanks to everyone who checks that out on my channel. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Instagram, radio.mike. Get in touch with the show, radio.mike on Insta, radiomikepod@gmail.com, 1-800-438-353, radiomike.com.au/contact. There really is no excuse for not getting in touch with the show. Keep sending in your TV themes as well, as we've been doing on the show. But I think that's more or less it. Nothing really else to plug right now, I don't think. So, what I will say is that my name's been Radio Mike. This has been The Inside of My Mind. Thank you so much for listening. I genuinely really appreciate it. And of course, oh my god, you got a second Yahtzee. Catch you later. Video exclusive thing happening right now. See ya. This podcast was a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to check out all our other content, stay up to date at radio.mike on Instagram, and get in touch, radiomikepod@gmail.com.